Have you ever heard of a book that no one in the world can read? A book filled with a language that doesn't seem to exist, illustrations of plants that have never been seen on Earth, and star charts that don't match our night sky. This isn't the plot of a new fantasy movie. It's the true story of the Voynich Manuscript, the world's most mysterious book. For over a century, the greatest minds in cryptography, linguistics, and history have tried to crack its code, and every single one of them has failed. What secrets are locked within its pages? Is it an elaborate hoax, the lost language of an ancient civilization, a forgotten herbal encyclopedia, or something else entirely? Join me today as we dive deep into the enigma of the Voynich Manuscript. The story begins in 1912, when a Polish rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich stumbled upon a strange and alluring codex in a Jesuit college near Rome. The manuscript was small, about 9 by 6 inches, but its 240 vellum pages were packed with content that immediately captivated him. It was written in an elegant, flowing script, but the alphabet was unlike anything he had ever seen. Interspersed with the text were hundreds of colorful, hand-drawn illustrations. There were peculiar, unidentifiable plants, naked figures bathing in strange green liquids, connected by intricate plumbing, and bizarre astronomical and cosmological diagrams. Voynich knew he had found something special, but he couldn't have imagined that he had just unearthed one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. He dedicated the rest of his life to deciphering its secrets, but died without ever understanding a single word. So, what exactly is inside this book? The manuscript is generally divided into several sections based on its illustrations. The first and largest is the herbal section. Each page features a drawing of a plant, sometimes with roots, leaves, and flowers, accompanied by paragraphs of that mysterious text. The problem? Botanists have been unable to definitively identify most of these plants. Some look like composite creations, as if someone stitched together parts of different real-world plants. Are they extinct species, plants from another continent yet to be discovered, or just figments of a very creative imagination? Then we have the astronomical section. This part is filled with circular diagrams, suns, moons, and stars, often with zodiac-like symbols. But when astronomers try to match these charts to known celestial events or constellations, they draw a blank. The arrangements don't seem to correspond to any known view of the heavens from Earth. It's as if the author was looking at the sky from a completely different perspective, or perhaps wasn't depicting our sky at all. Things get even stranger in the balneological section. This is probably the most famous part of the manuscript. It shows intricate networks of pipes and tubes connecting pools and vessels, where small, typically female figures are bathing, standing, or interacting. The liquid therein is usually green or blue. What does it all mean? Some theories suggest it's a manual on alchemy, a guide to hydrotherapy, or a depiction of the human reproductive system. But the bizarre, almost mechanical plumbing and the communal nature of the scenes defy any simple explanation. It's a surreal and puzzling collection of images that looks like nothing else from its time. Following that is the cosmological section, filled with more circular drawings and maps that are even harder to interpret. They seem to show interconnected islands, castles, and maybe even volcanoes. Are these geographical maps of a fantasy land, or abstract representations of spiritual concepts? And finally, the manuscript ends with a pharmaceutical section, showing parts of plants like roots, and leaves next to what look like apothecary jars, followed by pages and pages of solid text, almost like recipes or formulas. So, we have this incredible book, but where did it come from? Carbon dating of the vellum pages tells us that the manuscript was created sometime in the early 15th century, between 1404 and 1438. This places it right in the heart of the early Renaissance, a time of great intellectual and artistic rebirth in Europe. But who wrote it? And why? The history of the manuscript before Voynich found it is shadowy, pieced together from a letter found tucked inside its cover. This letter, dated 1666, was written by Johannes Marcus Marci, a rector of Prague University. He was sending the book to a famous Jesuit scholar in Rome named Athanasius Kircher, hoping Kircher could decipher it. Marci mentioned that the book was once owned by the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, a known patron of alchemy and the occult. The emperor supposedly believed it was the work of the famous 13th century English friar and philosopher, Roger Bacon, and paid a huge sum for it. From there, the trail gets murky, passing through the hands of an alchemist before ending up with the Jesuits. The Roger Bacon theory was popular for a long time, but the carbon dating proved it impossible, as Bacon died over a century before the manuscript was even made. So, who else could it be? One compelling but unproven theory points to a young Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci was known for writing in code and had a deep interest in anatomy, engineering, and botany. Could this have been an early secret notebook of his? The timeline fits, but the artistic style doesn't quite match his later work. Another theory suggests it wasn't a famous person at all, but perhaps the work of a northern Italian scholar or doctor, given some stylistic similarities to art from that region. Maybe it was a personal encyclopedia, a coded text to protect valuable herbal or medical knowledge from competitors. In an age where knowledge was power, encrypting your life's work would make perfect sense. Of course, with any great mystery, there's the theory that it's all just a brilliant, elaborate hoax. The idea is that someone, maybe even Wilfred Voynich himself, faked the entire manuscript to sell it for a fortune. The language in this scenario is complete gibberish, cleverly designed to look like a real language, but meaning nothing at all. Proponents of this theory point out that statistical analysis of the text shows some patterns that are different from natural languages. For example, certain words appear more frequently than they should, or repeat in strange ways. However, the hoax theory has its own problems. For one, the manuscript is incredibly complex. The text follows certain linguistic rules, known as Zipf's law, which states that the most frequent word will occur about twice as often as the second most frequent word, 3 times as often as the third, and so on. The Voynich text follows this pattern, just like real languages do. It also has a clear structure, with different dialects or word patterns appearing in different sections. Creating such a sophisticated fake in the 15th century, without computers, would have been an almost impossible feat of genius. And if Voynich faked it, how did he get his hands on 500-year-old vellum and ink? The carbon dating makes a modern forgery highly unlikely. In recent years, artificial intelligence has been thrown at the problem. Researchers have used powerful AI algorithms to analyze the text, hoping to find patterns that humans have missed. In 2018, a team from the University of Alberta claimed their AI had identified Hebrew as the source language, and that the text was created using a complex substitution cipher. They even offered a tentative translation of the first sentence. She made recommendations to the priest, man of the house, and me and people. It was a tantalizing breakthrough. But other experts were quick to point out flaws in their methodology, and the translation remains highly disputed. Other attempts have suggested it could be a lost Romance dialect, an ancient form of Turkish, or even an extinct language from Mexico, brought to Europe after Columbus. Each new theory generates excitement, but so far none have led to a verifiable, repeatable translation of the entire book. The manuscript stubbornly holds on to its secrets. So, after all this time, what are we left with? The Voynich Manuscript remains a beautiful, frustrating paradox. It is a book we can see but not read, a work of art and science that communicates nothing and everything all at once. It could be the key to a lost world of knowledge, or the most successful prank in history. Its enduring appeal lies in this very ambiguity. It's a mirror that reflects our own desire for meaning and our fascination with the unknown. Every person who looks at its strange pages sees something different. An alchemist's grimoire, an alien encyclopedia, a secret medical text, or a madman's diary. The truth is, we may never know. The code might be too complex, the context lost to time. But the quest to understand the Voynich Manuscript continues to inspire and challenge us. It reminds us that for all our knowledge and technology, there are still mysteries in the world that lie just beyond our grasp, waiting to be solved. And perhaps the journey to solve them is just as important as the answer itself. What do you think is hidden within these pages? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of one of history's greatest enigmas. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories about the mysteries that shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.